daughters. I'm 28. I'm from Chicago, and I'm a single mom.
Hello.
Growing up, my mother, she was a single parent. I remember it always being just me, my mom, and my brother. I never really wanted for much, but it was just my mom. And I will say she was a great mother, but being a single mother is one of those generational curses that, unfortunately, I'm living. Often people say, "You're such a good mother," and "Oh, you're a good mom." But honestly, a lot of what I do is because of my mother. Like, her legacy is what leads me into anything I do, whether it's what I cook for my kids, where I take my kids, how I dress my kids. It's because of what my mother did for me. So I'm thankful that I was raised by a single mother because I kind of just know what to do. It's kind of natural to just be a good mother. Okay, so on May 25th, 2008, I gave birth to my son, Terrell Mullins. He was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Like, I don't even remember holding babies until I had my own. I don't even remember changing diapers until I had my own kid. But when Terrell was born, he had jaundice, so he had to stay in the hospital for about another week, which was really difficult because he had to stay in the incubator. And I just remember going inside of the incubator and sneaking him out just to hold him or to like give him some breast milk. And I don't know, it was definitely a life change because in those few days in that hospital, I felt all types of emotions. Like, this is me, like I'm holding me, and I just felt like I had another purpose. After that, once the doctors released us, he came home. I spent days trying to figure out who he looks like. He looks the weirdest. Like, my mom used to call him Kermit because he looks like a little frog. But it was just something about his eyes that were like really, really tight. And I don't know. I remember spending a lot of time just staring at him, from trying to figure out why he had curly hair, or why was his skin the brown color it was, or why did his eyes look the way they looked. I don't know. It's a moment and it's a feeling that I can still kind of feel. It kind of takes me back to when I first met him. When Terrell was young, he had a speech problem. He had delays with his speech, and I remember by the time he was 3 and I was pregnant with my daughter, he still wasn't speaking, he still wasn't potty trained, and I decided to take him to a school far north from where I stayed at because I knew that they would link him to behavioral therapy, speech therapy, art therapy, just different things that would help him thrive. And to this day, I still drive 45 minutes to an hour every morning to get my kids to that school because it was worth it. I've seen some changes in my son, where my 6-year-old is now reading. He does fractions. He speaks very clear. Like, I don't know, just watching him grow has been something that I've really enjoyed, whether it was the struggle or like the rewarding moments, like everything. I just really, really enjoy the experience I get watching him grow up. When I had my son, I was away at school. I was living in Carbondale, Illinois, and shortly after my son was born, maybe 6 or 7 months, my mother passed away. So trying to deal with being in Carbondale, still taking care of things in Chicago, I just decided to move back. I came back home and I enrolled into school in Chicago, which led me to my master's program at Chicago State. Things are great. I mean, honestly, that master's program is probably the best thing that ever happened to me. But into my second year is when I got pregnant with my daughter. And months before I graduated, I gave birth to Tori Mullins. So Tori, because when Tori was born, my mother was no longer with me. I decided to give Tori my mother's name, Tori Madeline Mullins. Having a son, it only made sense that I wanted a girl to be next. And when I had Tori, I had a huge collection of hair bows waiting for her, tutus, dresses, flowered lace socks. I mean, I was in heaven when I had my daughter. I remember painting her room pink and silver and just decorating it. I was excited to have a little girl because, I don't know, I wanted that relationship that I had with my mother. I wanted to share it with someone else. So. Something that I can describe about my kids, like if I took them and separately described them, my son is definitely a mama's boy. He is the type that will like rub my hand or rub my arm while we're walking through the store, or as we're walking through the street, he's the one holding my hand. My daughter is the one looking across the street and making sure there's no cars. The 3-year-old is doing this. But my son, he's really sensitive, really nurturing. He reminds me a lot like me, and I think that has a lot to do with like how it was when he was first born. It was just us. I didn't work. I was taking online classes, so a lot of our time was just with each other. My daughter doesn't just look like me, she acts just like me. She's emotional, she's a crybaby, she's goofy, she's incredibly smart, she's bossy, and she's a mini-me, which is kind of refreshing to watch every now and then, but there's always that one moment where it kind of scares me that I have someone out there that's just like me. There's a story of Tori calling out for her mommy. I don't know when it started. I just remember the moment I realized why she was doing it. Whenever she would cry for something, she would say, "I want my mommy, I want my mommy." And the first time I'm like, "Where's your mama?" And she pointed to me. So, okay, fine. I know she knows who I am. She knows where I'm at. Fine. But that first time, I'm like, okay, I kind of fell into it. Whatever it was that got her in trouble didn't matter at that point because I gave her mommy. The second time, I'm like, I think she's trying to play me. Third time, fourth time, I kind of like let it go. And I was starting to think like, is there a real reason as to why she's calling out for her mommy? It wasn't until one morning when she got in trouble and she was crying hysterically for her mommy. Like it was one of those cries that you can tell her feelings were hurt. But as I was combing her hair, she was like, just, "I want my mommy, I want my mommy," just crying like crazy. And at that moment, I realized she was crying and calling out for her mommy because calling out for her daddy was like pointless because he wasn't there. And they kind of clicked. Like, you know, at some point, whenever she would want something to go her way and it didn't, she would say, "I want my daddy," or "Can I go to my daddy?" Like, it was always daddy. Like, she looked out for daddy to come give her that comfort, to help pacify her. But I guess in this 3-year-old's mind, somewhere, there's enough intelligence for her to say, look, let me change my expectations a little bit and stop sending myself off. Because if I call out for this guy, I know he's not coming. Meanwhile, let me just reach out for the person who's gonna come or who's gonna be here. So I'm gonna call out for my mommy. It's kind of deep. At that moment, while I was combing her hair, and I realized that she was calling my name because she didn't have nobody else to call, I was kind of sad, and I was kind of scared that she had enough sense to think of that. Like, if this is what she's thinking of at 3 years old, what is she gonna think of at 13? Like, okay, what do? I am a social worker at 2 non-profit social work agencies. Also, I work for another one in Indiana on some contractual work. But overall, I'm a social worker / mental health clinician. I enjoy my job. It doesn't pay what I would like to be paid, but because I haven't had much experience in the field, mostly what I can find are entry-level positions, and that's why I have so many to kind of make the budget that I want to be able to spend and whatnot. But working at my jobs, they don't really allow me room to be as creative as I like to be. So that's why I decided to go out and just do what I love doing on my own. So I decorate, I do events, weddings, parties, you name it. I make hair bows, tutus, little girl outfits, anything that allows me to be creative is something that I do on my own. So I can't really even say what is my job, what is my title, because honestly, I am wearing so many titles. I'm a painter. All the paintings around my house, I painted. I like to decorate. People ask me to come to their homes and help them decorate. I don't know. Overall, I'm a social worker at heart, but my passion is anything that allows me to be creative. I remember telling my mom, if I could be half the mother that she was to me, to my children, then honestly, I felt like I would be a good mother. I know that when I do things, I do it because I want to give my kids more than I ever had, and I know that the things that my mother gave me was more than she ever had. So that's a generational curse that I do want to keep going. My kids, they give me creativity, they give me drive, they give me strength to wake up every day and do what I gotta do to make sure they're fed. I want someone to look at me and say, hey, that girl right there, she's a pretty down-to-earth girl. She's really cool. She's kind of flashy at times, yet really mild and modest at times. She's just an all-around cool chick. I'm constantly doing something different. I'm always keeping my mind working. And I want to do this because I want to be able to show my kids that, you know, if you keep working at something, if you really want to do something, then it's very much so possible. I'm Tashauna Waters. I'm 28. I'm from Chicago, and I'm a single mom.